Hello class, in today's lesson, we're going to be going over the mean, median, mode, and range of a dataset. Now, this is a topic that you have already been exposed to during high school, so I'm just going to go over this topic again. Now, whenever you're being presented with numerical data, so data from, let's say, surveys, one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to make sense of these surveys, and this can be achieved by trying to find out the center value. So the measure of center is a value that attempts to identify the central position or the typical value of a dataset, and there are three different ways of achieving this. One of the ways of doing this is by finding the mean, which is often referred to as finding the average of a dataset. Another way we can do this is by finding the median, and the other one is referred to as the mode. And I'm going to be showing you how to actually obtain or find out the mean, median, and mode of any given dataset. So let's look at how do we find out the mean. Now, the mean or the average can be calculated by adding all the values within the dataset and then dividing by the total number of values. This can kind of be summarized by the following formula up here, where the word sum, remember, means to add up all the values. So if we look at the example down below, I'm going to show you how we could actually apply this formula to obtain the mean. So the question reads, the following dataset shows that shoe sizes of 5 random students selected in 1G1. Find out what the median shoe size is. So this over here is the raw data of the shoe sizes from 5 randomly selected students, size 10, 6, 7, 5, and 12. Now, if we were to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to add up all these values and then divide it by the total number of values, being 5 in this case over here. So if you use your calculator, 10 plus 6 plus 7 plus 5 plus 12, if you've added all these values together, that equals to 40, and 40 divided by 5 is equal to 8. So that's how we obtain the mean or the average of a data set. I'm now going to show you how to find out what the median is going to be. So the median is the middle value of a data set, and it must be always rearranged or reordered from smallest to largest. Okay, so that's probably the most important part of this slide. And if there are two middle numbers, what we need to do is we need to add them together and divide by 2. And this is only applicable when you have a even data number set. So the very first example that I have down below is identical to the example found on the previous slide. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that you can clearly see what is the difference between the mean versus the median. So what we need to do is we need to rearrange the data set from smallest to largest. So if I rearrange from smallest to largest, this is what my data set should look like, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 12. And what we need to do is we will therefore start crossing the numbers from both ends until we reach one single value in the middle. So if I cross out these numbers, you'll find out that the median of this data set or the middle value of this data set is clearly going to be 7. Now, on the second example, I'm going to be using the exact same data set, but in this time I've got 6 values and I've added this number over here, okay? Now, when we have an even number data set, what you'll often find is that there are going to be 2 middle numbers. And if you find 2 middle numbers, if you refer to this second dot point here, what we need to do is we need to add those numbers together and divide by 2. The reason why we do this is because we're trying to find out what is the middle number between the two innermost numbers. So again, do the same process where we need to rearrange the numbers from smallest to largest, and then we proceed to cross out the numbers from either ends and then progressively make our way to the center. So notice I'm crossing the numbers from the outside and I'm trying to go towards the inside. We see that these are the 2 middle numbers. So what we will do is to find out the middle number within these 2 middle numbers, I'm going to add these 2 numbers together and divide by 2. So 7 plus 10 is 17. 17 divided by 2 is going to equal to 8.5 using the calculator. Another way of finding the most typical value within a data set is by finding the mode. So the mode refers to the most common value or the number that occurs the most frequently within the data set. And what you need to understand is that depending on the data set or the values that's presented to you, it is possible to have no mode at all. You could have one mode, or it's possible to even have 2 or 3 modes, okay? So if we're using the exact same examples from the previous slide, in our very first example over here, we can see that there's no repeating numbers at all. So there's actually no mode for example number 1. However, if we look at example number 2, we can see that the number 10 has actually been repeated twice. So therefore, that's the most common number, and that is the mode in this example. So the mode is therefore equal to 10. The last thing that I want to show you is how do we calculate the range. So the range tells us how varied or how scattered the numbers are within the data set, and this can be obtained by using the following formula over here. So we're going to go find out what is the highest number, and we're going to subtract that with the lowest number in the data set. So in this example over here, the highest number is going to be 12, the lowest number is going to be 5. So if you go 12 minus 5, that is equal to 7. So what I would like you to do for the remainder of today's lesson is I want you to find pages 29 to 31. This is page 29 over here. So I want you to answer all questions found on these 3 pages over here. And once you've done that, I could therefore tick off observation 1 in your front cover. And then I want you to have a go with answering this worksheet over here. And therefore I'll be able to tick off observation 2. Now, if you guys haven't completed this already, I want you guys to please make sure and go back in your booklet and answer all questions related to the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of whole numbers, decimals, and fractions. This should have already been completed, but if you haven't done this already, then please make sure you go back and use your time effectively to catch up on your work. So this is the end of today's lesson. I'll be reviewing your workbooks today, so please use your time effectively in class. I shall see you guys again on Wednesday. Thank you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.